Welcome everyone. Today we're examining the dosing debate surrounding citrulline malate. Many supplement labels feature this ingredient, but there is confusion about whether you need 6 grams or 8 grams to get results. Our goal is to unpack the science behind citrulline malate, explain why the ratio of citrulline to malate matters, and help you decide which dose fits your goals. Throughout this video you will learn how citrulline is converted to arginine to support nitric oxide production, what malate contributes to energy metabolism, and why more powder is not always better. We are focusing on evidence-based advice for lifters and endurance athletes with no marketing fluff. By the end, you will understand that actual citrulline content and personal tolerance are more important than scoop size. This slide asks the question on everyone's mind: is 6 grams adequate, or should you be taking 8 grams? It is common to think that a larger scoop automatically leads to a bigger pump. In reality, what matters are 3 things: the ratio of citrulline to malate, the actual amount of L-citrulline delivered, and how your body responds. Different commercial products list total weight, but do not specify how much is citrulline and how much is malate. The rest of this presentation will help you decode labels and decide which dose is practical for you. Citrulline malate is not a single substance, it is a combination of the amino acid L-citrulline and malic acid. Manufacturers blend them in different proportions. The most common ratio is 2 parts citrulline to 1 part malate. At that ratio, a 6-gram serving contains about 4 grams of L-citrulline and 2 grams of malic acid. Some products use a 1-to-1 ratio, which drops the citrulline content to just 3 grams per 6-gram scoop. When you see labels claiming 6 grams of citrulline malate, remember that only part of that weight is the active amino acid. Research studies typically test 6 to 8 grams of citrulline malate, but outcomes vary widely due to differences in ratio, study design, and participant fitness. Understanding these nuances helps you make informed choices rather than chasing a bigger number. Citrulline malate is a salt combining the amino acid L-citrulline with malic acid, an organic acid naturally found in fruits like apples. Once ingested, citrulline travels to the kidneys where it is converted into L-arginine, and then nitric oxide is produced. Nitric oxide relaxes blood vessels, increasing blood flow to muscles and supporting nutrient delivery. The malate component enters the tricarboxylic acid cycle, also known as the Krebs cycle, which helps generate adenosine triphosphate to fuel exercise. The idea is that citrulline improves blood flow while malate supports aerobic energy production. However, the malate contribution is largely theoretical and has limited evidence in human performance studies. It is important to appreciate the individual roles of each component when evaluating supplements. This slide explains why citrulline is a popular nitric oxide precursor. After ingestion, L-citrulline bypasses digestion in the gut and liver and is absorbed into the bloodstream. In the kidneys, enzymes convert citrulline into L-arginine. Nitric oxide synthase then uses arginine to produce nitric oxide, the molecule that widens blood vessels. Because citrulline avoids first-pass metabolism, it raises blood arginine levels more effectively than taking arginine directly. Higher nitric oxide supports dilation of blood vessels, improving blood flow, oxygen delivery, and nutrient transport to working muscles. This enhanced circulation is what athletes mean when they talk about a pump during training. Malic acid, or malate, is a component of the Krebs cycle, the metabolic pathway your cells use to produce energy. By donating carbon units, malate helps regenerate NADH and adenosine triphosphate, which sustain aerobic metabolism. Some supplement makers suggest that adding malate to citrulline will enhance endurance by reducing fatigue and assisting lactate clearance. Unfortunately, this idea has not been strongly supported by human trials. While malate is biochemically important, most performance studies attribute benefits primarily to the citrulline portion. In short, malate may contribute to energy production, but current evidence does not show a significant ergogenic effect beyond what citrulline alone can offer. Dosing confusion stems from the fact that L-citrulline and citrulline malate are different compounds. L-citrulline is the pure amino acid. Citrulline malate is a salt that combines citrulline and malic acid in specified ratios. Many products use a 2-to-1 ratio, meaning 2 parts citrulline to 1 part malate, but some use a 1-to-1 ratio. Labels often show only the total weight of citrulline malate without disclosing how much is active citrulline. The problem is compounded when brands hide their ingredients behind proprietary blend names that do not specify amounts or ratios at all. As a consumer, you need to read labels carefully and choose products that clearly state both the dose and the ratio so you know how much citrulline you are actually getting. Because products vary in their citrulline to malate ratios, A bigger scoop may not deliver a proportionally larger amount of citrulline. For example, a 2-to-1 formulation contains about 67% citrulline by weight, whereas a 1-to-1 formulation contains 50%. That means that increasing your scoop from 6 grams to 8 grams in a 1-to-1 product adds more malate than citrulline. By contrast, increasing from 6 to 8 grams in a 2-to-1 product adds about 1.3 grams of extra citrulline. When evaluating dosages, always consider the ratio on the label. Do not assume that doubling the scoop doubles the active ingredient. Here we illustrate actual L-citrulline delivered in a 2-to-1 product. 6 grams of citrulline malate provide roughly 4 grams of citrulline and 2 grams of malate. Increasing to 8 grams raises citrulline to about 5.3 grams and malate to 2.7 grams. That is only a 25% increase in the active amino acid. In a 1-to-1 product, 6 grams deliver 3 grams of citrulline and 3 grams of malate. 8 grams deliver 4 grams and 4 grams, again a relatively small increase. This demonstrates that the difference between 6 and 8 gram servings is not as dramatic as the scoop size suggests. When cost and gastrointestinal comfort are considered, a 6-gram 2-to-1 serving may offer a good balance of efficacy and tolerability. A 6-gram serving of citrulline malate at a 2-to-1 ratio supplies around 4 grams of L-citrulline and 2 grams of malate. At a 1-to-1 ratio, it supplies 3 grams of citrulline. This dose is easier on the stomach for many users because citrulline can cause bloating or diarrhea at higher amounts. Starting with 6 grams allows you to gauge tolerance. 6 grams also fits comfortably into pre-workout formulas alongside other nitric oxide boosters like beetroot powder or nitrate-rich foods. When combined with caffeine, creatine, or beta-alanine, 6 grams may be ample to support pumps and training volume without overfilling your scoop or upsetting your stomach. Research on 6-gram servings paints a nuanced picture. Long-term supplementation studies, where participants take between 2.4 and 6 grams of citrulline malate daily for 1 to 2 weeks, have reported increases in nitric oxide production and modest improvements in endurance or strength outcomes. In contrast, many acute studies testing a single 6-gram dose taken shortly before exercise failed to show significant ergogenic benefits. The variability is likely due to differences in participants' training status, the type of exercise performed, and the quality and ratio of citrulline malate used. In general, chronic use may offer more consistent benefits, whereas a single 6-gram shot may not be enough to make a noticeable difference for everyone. Upping the dose to 8 grams increases the L-citrulline content to about 5.3 grams when the ratio is 2-to-1. This amount is often chosen in research to guarantee that participants receive enough of the active amino acid. Some studies report that 8 grams can improve total repetitions to failure, boost peak power output, and reduce muscle soreness after training. The higher dose might be particularly beneficial for repeated high-intensity efforts or prolonged workouts where maintaining blood flow and nutrient delivery is critical. Yet more is not always better. Taking 8 grams can increase the risk of gastrointestinal discomfort and may offer only marginal improvements over 6 grams. Weigh the potential benefits against tolerance and cost before choosing this dose. Research findings on 8-gram doses are inconsistent. Several studies have shown that 8 grams of citrulline malate taken about an hour before training can increase the number of repetitions performed, enhance peak power, and decrease muscle soreness 24 hours after exercise. These positive results tend to appear in small samples of recreational lifters. On the other hand, other controlled trials report no difference between 8 grams and a placebo in terms of strength or endurance performance. Factors such as participant training background, type of exercise, gender, and the citrulline-to-malate ratio used may influence outcomes. Because of these inconsistencies, meta-analyses conclude that any benefits are modest at best. Further high-quality research is needed to clarify who might benefit most from higher doses. It is easy to fall into the trap of believing that more powder guarantees greater performance. That is the myth. The reality is that the actual amount of L-citrulline you consume and how your body responds determine results, not just the total scoop weight. 8 grams of a low-ratio product may deliver less citrulline than 6 grams of a higher-ratio product. Everyone also has a different tolerance for citrulline, with some experiencing stomach upset at higher doses. The takeaway is to look past marketing claims. Read the label for ratio and L-citrulline content and start with a dose your body handles well. Only increase if you feel comfortable and need more support. When all the research is considered together, citrulline malate appears to offer modest benefits for strength and high-intensity exercise by reducing fatigue and improving the ability to perform repeated efforts. However, the effects are small and inconsistent, and citrulline malate should not be viewed as a magic bullet. Differences in study designs, participant training levels, and unlabeled ratios make it hard to draw firm conclusions. Some meta-analysis show small effect sizes, while others find no significant benefit. To determine the optimal dose, ratio, and timing, more rigorous studies with transparent formulations and larger sample sizes are needed. Until then, view citrulline malate as a potentially helpful tool, but not a replacement for proper training and nutrition. Here are actionable tips for choosing and using citrulline products. First, always check the label to see if the citrulline-to-malate ratio is listed. Transparency is essential. Second, avoid proprietary blends that hide ingredient amounts. They make it impossible to know how much active citrulline you are ingesting. Third, if you use citrulline malate, a serving of 6 to 8 grams 30 to 60 minutes before training is a reasonable range used in research. Adjust based on your tolerance and whether you are stacking other nitric oxide boosters. Fourth, if you prefer pure L-citrulline, a typical effective dose is about 6 grams. Pure citrulline allows you to deliver a precise amount of the active amino acid without extra malate. Let us compare pure L-citrulline and citrulline malate. Pure L-citrulline is exactly what it sounds like, 100% L-citrulline. When you take 6 grams of it, you are getting 6 grams of the active amino acid. This purity makes dosing straightforward and is helpful when stacking citrulline with other precursors such as nitrates or nitrosigine. Citrulline malate, on the other hand, is a salt that combines citrulline and malic acid. Depending on the ratio, a 6 to 8 gram serving provides between 3 and 5.3 grams of citrulline. Advocates claim that malate may support the Krebs cycle, but evidence for an added performance benefit is limited. Your choice should depend on whether you prioritize maximum nitric oxide production or a potential energy metabolism boost, as well as the taste, cost, and tolerance of each form. Timing matters with citrulline. Research suggests that plasma arginine peaks about 1 hour after ingestion. Therefore, take your citrulline malate or pure citrulline 30 to 60 minutes before your workout. Begin with a smaller dose such as 6 grams of citrulline malate or 3 to 4 grams of pure L-citrulline, especially if you are new to the supplement. If you experience bloating or stomach upset, split the dose into 2 smaller servings spaced apart. Remember that taking more does not necessarily produce more nitric oxide. Consistency over days or weeks may be more important than chasing a large one-time dose. Keep a training log to see how your body responds over time. Citrulline malate can be part of a broader supplement strategy. For endurance events, pairing citrulline with beetroot juice or other nitrate sources may enhance nitric oxide production through complementary pathways. Adding beta-alanine can help buffer acid buildup and delay fatigue. For strength and power sessions, combining citrulline with caffeine and creatine may improve energy, focus, and muscular output. However, be cautious about overlapping stimulants or loading up on multiple nitric oxide boosters without considering the total dosage. Excessive stimulants can elevate heart rate and blood pressure, while too much nitrate or citrulline may upset your stomach. Choose products with transparent labels so you can balance ingredients effectively. While citrulline is generally considered safe, it is important to be aware of potential side effects. Some people experience gastrointestinal symptoms such as bloating, cramping, diarrhea, or sweating, especially at higher doses. Citrulline may slightly lower blood pressure because it increases nitric oxide, so individuals taking blood pressure medications, nitrates for heart conditions, or erectile dysfunction drugs should consult a physician before supplementing. There is insufficient evidence to ensure safety during pregnancy or breastfeeding, and people with kidney or cardiovascular disease should seek medical advice. Start with small doses and pay attention to how your body responds. If you notice lightheadedness or unusual symptoms, discontinue use and speak with a healthcare professional. In our final assessment, the optimal dose is not about 6 grams versus 8 grams in isolation. It is about the actual amount of L-citrulline you consume and how it fits into your overall supplement stack. A 6-gram serving of a 2-to-1 citrulline malate product delivers around 4 grams of citrulline and can be effective when paired with other nitric oxide boosters or for those who prefer smaller doses to minimize stomach upset. An 8-gram serving increases the citrulline content to about 5.3 grams and may provide incremental benefits for demanding high-intensity sessions. Ultimately, consider the ratio, your training goals, your tolerance, and your budget when deciding between the two. Track your performance and adjust accordingly. As you leave this presentation, remember to focus on transparency and personalization. Select supplements that clearly state the citrulline-to-malate ratio and total dose so you know exactly what you are consuming. Both 6-gram and 8-gram servings can be effective within the context of a balanced program, but your choice should be guided by how much active citrulline they deliver and how your body responds. Consistency in training, nutrition, and sleep will influence your performance far more than adding 1 or 2 extra grams of powder. Do not fall for marketing claims that promise instant gains with ever larger scoops. Make smart choices, listen to your body, and stay focused on the fundamentals. To recap the essential points, citrulline malate is a blend of citrulline and malate, and the proportion of each determines how much active citrulline you receive. Typical servings range from 6 to 8 grams, but at a 2-to-1 ratio. 6 grams usually provides enough citrulline for most lifters. Research suggests that citrulline malate may enhance strength and reduce fatigue, but the effects are modest and inconsistent. Your supplement choice should prioritize transparency in labeling and match your personal tolerance and goals. Use citrulline malate as a tool to complement solid training and nutrition, not as a replacement for them. Stay informed, experiment responsibly, and enjoy your workouts.